While we pay to keep our politicians fighting, how do we, the people, rise up and solve the great challenges of our time? We do it by embracing freedom and liberty. There may be no such thing as a free lunch, but this hour is as close as it gets. Welcome to A Free Solution.
All right, welcome everyone to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being here, everyone. We're here on WYSL until 1 p.m. That means that you can call in until then. Give us a call, 585-346-3000. Of course, shout out down the line to our friends over at WACK out in Newark and WENY, the Patriot, down in the Southern Tier, and our friends listening online too, on the Facebook page, on the A Free Solution YouTube channel, on our podcast afterwards too. You can always send us messages there as well, catch the episode later. That's how I usually listen to a lot of stuff. But again, if you're listening here live, give us a call, 585-346-3000. And on those social media posts, I asked a question. Was that an attempted insurrection? Like, what the heck? Like, what a weird couple of days that's happened here. Larry Sharp did a great show on this yesterday. And again, if you haven't caught that episode, look on our social media channels or look for it in our podcast. And you can also go to WYSL1040.com and catch the last few episodes up there as well under the podcast. Listen to what he had to say. But, I'm going to kind of go over, as time goes on, we're trying to figure out what happened. What went wrong? Is any good going to come out of this? I doubt it. And then, what are the weird rumors going on with this as well? So, I'm sure everyone's familiar with what happened. There's a mob of folks who were, some of whom were there to be a part of the Stop the Steal rally, and kind of a more radical faction kind of rioted. They stormed into the Capitol building. They were, in some cases, pushing past police officers and the Capitol Police, sometimes fighting with them to get into the building, going through and tearing apart offices, smashing windows. There's some wild scenes of, Capitol Police pointing guns at people's heads from inside the House chamber, inside the floor of the House of Representatives. Something that really hasn't been seen in quite a while. It's not the only attack to ever happen at the U.S. Capitol building. There have been others. There's a bombing that was there in the 1950s. There's someone who tried to drive a car into the Capitol building, I think, in the 90s. I think one of the few times where the stated goal of the people attacking the building was to change the results of an election. If I'm being honest about it, it's I think that prevent the peaceful transfer of power. We no longer can say that there was a peaceful transfer of power after the 2020 election because a few people died. There was a police officer who apparently died from injuries. From this kind of QAnon and pro-Trump mob. There's a guy named Brian Sicknick. He died last night, which is a wild scene too. Not with this police officer specifically, but to see people with the Blue Lives Matter flag fighting cops. That's kind of a weird thing. To see Blue Lives Matter folks fighting with police officers in the same way that we saw in some of the Black Lives Matter marches with Antifa earlier. And now I'll talk about the Antifa rumors. I'll talk about those in a little bit. But I do want to say let's see. I want to make sure I get to all these rumors going on, all the weird discussion that's happening around this. There's this rumor going around that the police were super soft in this incident. I think that there was a lot of failures on the part of the Capitol Police and the DC Police in this incident. There were some areas where people just seemed to be able to walk through. The police were unwilling or unable to take an approach to put a hard stop to people advancing into, you know, the Capitol building, to our center of democracy at the national level. Well, not the center of the republic at the national level. But there are other parts where people were getting pepper sprayed, people were getting beaten, people were getting tear gassed. So the comparisons being made to, like, oh, if this had been a Black Lives Matter rally, it would have been different. No, it was pretty much the same for most of it, but there are other points in which there's failures and people got in. And because of that, I think the chief of the Capitol Police had resigned already. Was asked to do so. The Sergeant at Arms of the Senate was also asked to resign as well. So there's a lot of stuff that happened with that. But to say that the people entering the Capitol building were just allowed to enter is not quite true either. There's some wild videos out there too of where people are kind of near one of the entrances of the Capitol, and there's all these barriers, and some folks just decide, okay, we're going in now. Knock down the barriers, walked by, and there's all these police and riot gear just like looking around, like, what do we do next? And it's so odd too to see people on the left being like, oh, they should have used a more oppressive response. I don't know, maybe. It's like everyone's flipped now. I'm seeing conservatives being like, oh, the police are out of control. It's specifically related to the death of Ashley Babbitt, who's the woman who was shot and killed while storming the U.S. Capitol. The woman died because of this. A woman died. A police officer died. This woman, and if you haven't seen the video, I'm not going to post the video. You can look it up. But I did watch the video of what happened. And this woman was trying to climb into the window of the speaker's office. She was... That's what happened. There's someone there with a gun. I don't know if it was Capitol Police or Secret Service or something else. Someone was telling me it was Secret Service, but I haven't been able to verify that. I thought it was Capitol Police. And this person pointed a gun at her. They had the doors barricaded. The windows had been smashed out by these rioters. And he's pointing a gun saying, get down right now. Get down or I'll shoot you. He had been shouting warnings. And she tried to climb up through the window. And she got shot. And, in that specific instance, just like I say about all police incidents, I have to ask, was there a different way that this could have happened? And it's so bizarre to see how the left and the right are responding to this, because people on the right, many of them, not all, a lot of them saying, well, why'd she need to get shot? Can't believe these police officers just shoot someone like that. Well, it's the same criticism that Black Lives Matter have been making about police response in some of these situations, because they have used less than lethal force. And then I got folks on the left who are saying, well, anytime you're trespassing on government property and the police officer tells you not to enter, not to do something, and you do it anyway, well, yeah, of course you're going to get shot. Of course. I'm like, well, in other situations, like locally, when people have entered, these Black Lives Matters rally who've entered police stations or city halls or crossed police lines, when you have someone who goes too far and jumps over those barriers, they would be rightfully upset if that person was shot and killed. Now, again, this isn't to defend the actions of the woman who was trying to forcefully enter the speaker's office while destroying property. The police officer in there would have no idea, wouldn't know if this woman had a gun or a bomb or was going to do anything else to either destroy the building more than she already had, or harm someone inside, harm someone that this person was charged with protecting. So I wouldn't want to be in that situation. But it is so interesting to see how the left is out for blood in this, and the right are saying, well, why did this police officer have to act this way? And that's not universal. Opinions are getting mixed up with it. This is, I think, going to be a significant moment in changing both the Republican and the Democratic Party. I think we're going to see a big shift in how many Republicans are feeling about the long-term legacy of President Trump. We're seeing it already. And we're seeing the left, the Democratic Party, looking at new ways to make sure something like this doesn't happen again. And I think what's going to come out of that is going to be some really repressive stuff. They're going to overreact. They're going to use this as a pretext for taking away our liberty. And when we come back, I'll talk about rumors, some of the other stuff going on here, and what good solutions could be about how to move forward from rioters storming the U.S. Capitol on Wednesday. All right, we'll be back in just a few moments here on A Free Solution. Give us a call if you want to participate in the conversation. 585-346-3000 here on A Free Solution. We'll be back soon.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
When you've been seriously injured in a car crash, you need a lawyer who knows how to beat the big insurance companies. Call me and I'll take them on so you can focus on your health and family.
Car crash, call Salino. Salino, call Salino. 888-2020.
Main Street, Rochester.
Rochester's only NCAA Division II athletic scholarship program wants you. Our Life in the Balance approach to athletics will provide you with an opportunity to succeed in the classroom and in your sport while allowing you the time to be involved with your personal interests and even study abroad. The Redhawks compete in the East Coast Conference, and their student athletes excel in the classroom and on the playing field. If you're ready for the challenge of high-level athletics while earning a college degree that will prepare you for the future, visit robertsredhawks.com.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
A free solution.
Welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Walsh, your host for today. Thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful lunchtime show. We're talking about what happened at the U.S. Capitol building on Wednesday. Asking the question, well, was that an attempted insurrection? who should be responsible. You know, and I'll talk later in the show too. There's some of these things coming out, these op-eds coming out. Should we invoke the 25th Amendment and move President Trump for the last less than 2 weeks of his presidency? Whether or not Congress should impeach him again. Well, let me know what you think about that. That's what I'm going to be talking about second half of the show. And then some solutions moving on from there. But if you want to participate in the conversation, either way, give us a call, 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. Again, if you're listening here on WYSL or online, we're going to be live until 1. So you can participate in the conversation up until then. We did get a comment from Phil on Facebook, says they let them barge through every door up to that point. She assumed she could just keep going. Just at that point, she apparently thought that no one was going to stop her. Maybe. I mean, I feel like if you have a police officer or really any other security personnel pointing a gun at your face saying they're going to shoot you if you go any further, you should probably listen to them. I mean, and again, this is why I heard from a lot of conservatives, if you play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Again, I don't like that a woman is dead. I think that's awful. I think this is worth investigating, honestly. At the same time, there's a woman trying to enter an office, enter the speaker's office, could have been doing who knows what. That police officer didn't know. I have some sympathy for the police officer in this case. Again, I try to look at these situations with nuance, just like I do with the officer-involved shootings when a police officer kills someone else. I try to look at the facts on the ground, try to see what happened. And I think this case is just like any other. I've been told that it's not like any other. This is a different situation. Someone storming the U.S. Capitol building. Well, fair enough. That's an emotional situation. That's not quite unprecedented, but pretty close. Pretty close to that. So, I don't know. To me, I think this might have been able to be solved in a non-lethal way. But yeah, if you're trying to smash into the House Speaker's office and someone is pointing a gun at you saying don't go any further, you got to expect there to be some consequences for that. If you don't get shot, then you're going to get beanbagged or maced or pepper sprayed or something else. And I do have to ask, too, there are several police officers right behind this woman. Like, why did none of them, try to stop her from going in, seeing that this situation's happening? And we're going to find some of this stuff out in the investigations. Now, speaking of investigations, I've been told by several other people this was actually Antifa who had led this. And I want y'all to be informed. I don't want you, my listeners, to look silly when discussing this with people online. I'm just going to throw it out there. This wasn't Antifa. This wasn't it. And I know for several reasons why it wasn't. Now, first of all, a lot of the people in the photos are well-known people. The half-naked horns guy, the dude is a guy named Jake Angeli. He's calls himself Q Shaman, and he shows up everywhere. He's been all over the place. He's in a bunch of photos. People like taking pictures with him. So that dude who's standing, I think he was standing in the Senate, floor of the Senate, with his horns on and whatnot, which, my goodness, what a weird photo that is absolutely going to be in every history book. My children are going to learn about this moment and see that guy in there. And he is almost certainly going to jail for a while. That's going to happen. So people know who this is. He's been around for a while. He's definitely a QAnon guy. And actually find it kind of funny that this guy is getting labeled as Antifa, given what type of stuff he's talked about in the past. So no, he wasn't Antifa. There's other people, Nick Fuentes, Big Alaska. There's a few other folks who are kind of well-known individuals who've been active in far-right politics. I posted a a meme to my Facebook page about this too. So one of the sources that I've seen is like, oh look, here are these guys' faces on an Antifa website. So that's one of the things I've seen. And one of the guys is a dude named Matthew Heimbach, and he is basically a Nazi. He's some variant of Nazi. I'm not going to get into what form of extremist Nazi wacko he is, but he's pretty well known for leading a fascist group. And so the reason why his face is on Antifa websites is because Antifa is saying this guy's a Nazi. And this isn't to defend Antifa in any way, but this is to offer an explanation for people citing that as evidence. It's not actually any evidence that this guy is a part of Antifa. They're declaring this dude as their enemy. He's a bad guy. And there's other people who are in the Capitol building who just aren't your average Trump-supporting folks. We're actual fascists in there. There's actual white supremacists in there. There's people wearing, Camp Auschwitz shirts. It's disgusting. These people are awful. You gotta be kidding me. And again, I know that's not everyone who was there. I know other people who were at the rally, and I have my disagreements, and I always tell them about it. Don't always agree. Most people aren't there for the same reasons. But, yeah, there's some pretty disgusting people there. There's another one. People were saying that there's a hammer and sickle tattoo that one of the guys is wearing. It's a tattoo from a video game. It's a Dishonored tattoo. So not the hammer and sickle. And the biggest reason too, I know that this isn't Antifa, is also because they weren't wearing masks. So again, first of all, you can easily identify everyone there. Antifa, even before the pandemic, even before COVID-19, even before all this stuff, black bloc tactics, they wear masks. They always mask up. That's why you have you used to have laws against masking up, particularly at protests. Because what Antifa would do, what they would do with their black bloc tactics, is that they would cover their faces, so the cops couldn't identify them. That's part of what they do. If this were Antifa and they were trying to hide their identity of being a part of, storming the U.S. Capitol building to radicalize people against Trump supporters, they probably would have covered their faces with something. And very few people in there had their faces covered. So, again, they're exposing themselves to being found out as being Antifa, because you'd be able to trace that back. There's a Washington Times article that I think was it Washington Times? No, it was Washington Times. That was saying a facial recognition firm had confirmed Antifa's involvement in the attack. That was not true. That was a lie. There was no basis to that whatsoever. Because again, Antifa, for all the shady stuff they do, you got to understand is they know how to make it hard for the police to catch them on this stuff. They know how to make it difficult for the police to be able to trace it back to them and to make sure that they can't be caught for whatever crimes they're committing. And they're usually smashing, not government buildings or anything. They're smashing storefronts and Starbucks and whatever. Wasn't Antifa. So all those things combined, I don't think that Antifa was involved in this. I think this was just another brand of crazy. Sorry, I mean, I can't defend in any way what these folks did. I don't think it's right to storm the U.S. Capitol building. I don't think it's right to try to stop the peaceful transfer of power. And I said, but I know this makes people mad. I still haven't seen any evidence that fraud existed on a big level. Individual cases, I know it happens, but on a big level, it ain't there. But if you want to call and talk to me about that some more, give me a call, 585-346-3000. And when we come back, we'll talk about what are the Democrats and the Republicans likely to do moving forward, the 25th Amendment impeachment, and what would be a good solution to moving beyond this, making sure that we preserve our republic and the Constitution. Thanks again for joining us on The Free Solution. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Stand up for your freedom. AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for today. We'll have a lot more of those stubborn clouds around town, but we're hopeful for maybe a little clearing late in the afternoon. The high today near 30. For tonight, we'll see a little bit of clearing out there. We'll drop close to 20. On Saturday, looks nice. We'll get some sunshine in the low 30s, some fair weather on Sunday as well. Sun and clouds, temperatures in the 30s. I'm Rich Cadelia, WYSL.
Now is a great time to shop at Victor Chevrolet. Come see how easy it is to do business with us. Winter driving is safe and fun when you lease the 2020 Equinox front-wheel drive LS. Just $129 a month for 36 months. Or buy it for just $24,990. Or enjoy the versatility of a tough and roomy 2021 Silverado LST. Lease for only $229 a month for 36 months. Or buy it for just $43,990. Lease a 2020 Chevy Trax LS front-wheel drive for just $89 a month for 36 months.
For Equinox, Trax, or Trailblazer, must have current lease and household. 10,000 miles per year. $2,500 cash or trade. First payment, tax, acquisition, and TMV fees are all due at signing for all leases.
Would you prefer to buy? Save big when you buy a 2019 Trax LT all-wheel drive with convenience package, power drive seat, and keyless entry and start. MSRP $26,145. Buy it now for just $19,990. This winter, find new roads at Victor Chevrolet, Route 96 in Victor. Visit VictorChevrolet.com.
There's a place in the village of Avon you and your critters will love. Whether they're big or small, whether they've got hair, fur, or feathers, Avon Feed fits every need. There's a full selection of pet foods for dogs and cats, bird feeders, suet, and dry shot boots and garden shoes. They've got grass and clover seed too. Check out our frequent flyer birdseed program. Buy 10 bags of birdseed, get the next bag free. Choose farm feeds and great equine products like Blue Seal and Neutrina, plus Poland grains. Everything for your pet, from feeding bowls to toys, leads, collars, and tie-outs. Avon Feed and Supply has what the big pet chain stores will never have. Tim Cole and his great knowledgeable staff. And if you think you'll save money at that pet superstore, well, think again. While you're at Avon Feed, don't forget the two-legged pets with River Rat Thousand Island cheese and great flavors, including hard-to-find mean and nasty, plus once again nut butters, Nunday mustards, Dan's garlic, and Rickles pickles. Open weekdays 9 to 6, Saturday 9 to 4. Avon Feed and Supply, West Main Street at the bottom of the hill, just west of the Circle.
Open Door is a great place because it helps you with your whole self. It's not just about the addiction. For me, it's been just getting in touch with that little boy who never really grew up. I don't feel like I have to save him anymore. I can just let him live. I don't have to be afraid. And I can't think of anywhere else I would want to be to do that. It's safe, it's challenging, but it works.
Go to opendoormission.com. A healthy smile has health benefits beyond just teeth. It's whole body wellness. Don't live with broken, missing, or failing teeth. Lakeview Dental can restore your smile with state-of-the-art dental care. Their approach is providing reliable, comfortable solutions for the long term. Eliminate those endless visits to deal with recurring problems with your teeth. Address your dental concerns once and for all. Find out more at LavoniaSmiles.com or call 346-3028. Lakeview Dental, for the smile of a healthier you.
If you're looking to market and grow your business, make new business connections, and give back to the community in a meaningful way, consider joining the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce. We're the largest suburban chamber in Monroe County, and we offer networking, education, marketing, insurance, and advocacy. You do not need to live or work in Greece to join. Our members come from throughout the region. In short, we're better together, and together, we're moving business forward. Visit greecechamber.org or call 585-227-7272 to join today.
Flower City Collision in Henrietta is your hometown body shop. Flower City works with all major insurance companies, repairing your vehicle back to pre-accident condition. Finest craftsmanship using PPG products. Get it done right. Visit flowercitycollision.com.
It's the return of local college basketball on WYSL. I'm Andrew Battisti, and I'll be calling the action for the 2021 Roberts Wesleyan Men's and Women's Red Hawks. The season tips off for the men this Sunday at 12:45 p.m. against Bryan and Stratton Buffalo. Then the women take to the court Tuesday at 6:45 p.m., also facing Bryan and Stratton Buffalo. Be sure to tune in all season for exciting Roberts Wesleyan basketball on the WYSL stations.
WYSL.
A free solution.
Welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today. Thank you so much for joining us. And again, we're live here until 1 o'clock on WYSL, so give us a call, 585-346-3000. But if you're catching us later, you are listening to this over at WACK out in Newark or WENY, The Patriot, down in the southern tier. I still want to hear from you. Leave a comment on my Facebook page. Go over to the stream, too, if you want to participate in this conversation afterwards. The Kevin Wilson Facebook page, Kevin Wilson Libertarian, A Free Solution, YouTube as well, on any of those channels. Leave a comment. I check them out later. I will try to address them or reply to them in some way, as long as it's not spammy, because they get a lot of those on YouTube. And make sure you subscribe as well. Subscribe to A Free Solution on YouTube, and make sure you get that notice of any new episodes coming on as well. We were talking about what happened at the U.S. Capitol building. I was talking about what was going on with rumors that the people who attacked the building were Antifa. I don't think there's anything to them. And even if there were Antifa folks there, and maybe there was folks trying to incite, but there's very clearly like some known kind of QAnon type of folks leading the charge there. Like it was, including the woman who died. She was that's what she was about. She was mislabeled a libertarian too, which bugs me a little bit, but that's neither here nor there. Now we're coming to kind of what should be done about this, and the Democrats and even a handful of conservatives, seems like National View types, kind of your old school conservatives who were never really comfortable with President Trump's populism, saying that, maybe we should invoke the 25th Amendment. Maybe we should move forward with impeachment. And I do want to discuss, is that something that should be done? Or is that going to make things worse? All right, sounds like we do have a call on the line, though. Sounds like we have John from Rochester on. John, how you doing?
Hey, Kevin, I'm doing good. Waiting for that big Bills game tomorrow. There should be a lot of fun.
Oh, it's going to be great.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about, I've been listening to your show, and I agree with you that a lot of the people that got through the perimeter of the Capitol building were probably Trump supporters. But I listened to some interviews that were done from Buffalo, people that were there, and a number of them said that they suspect that, and I would agree with this. Antifa was on site, but they stood in the background. I'll give you a couple examples. There was a couple guys from down from the southern tier that went to the rally, and they were outside the Capitol building, far away from the Capitol building, and a crowd developed behind them, and they saw this guy. He was dressed in black, etc., and he shot a flare toward the police. These two looked at him, and the guy took off. They didn't, So I think these guys. Antifa was there. They're probably on the perimeter. There was another lady in her 70s. Her husband is also in his 70s. They were there, and they couldn't get into the actual speech that Trump gave because they got there too late. So they milled around, and when they saw the crowd moving toward the Capitol building, they followed it, and they had it was, let's see, there was one individual kind of dressed in black, etc. He was on the perimeter in the back with a bullhorn saying, let's rush the Capitol. Let's rush the Capitol. Let's go. And he kind of meandered outside the perimeter and left. And when he did that with the bullhorn, the lady said that a lot of people started running toward the Capitol building. So I think they were there to instigate. I agree with you. I don't think they actually got into the Capitol building. If they did, they probably wore disguises, etc. I'll just give you an example of it was like a Buffalo Bills game. I've been to 3 Buffalo Bills games where riots occurred, and the first one was in junior high back in '66, where the people stormed the field. The Bills had clinched the AFL East championship, and it was against the Denver Broncos. Anyway, this is 1966. I'm in this standing room only with my dad, my brother, and the people just rushed the field after the game ended. And the police were there with billy clubs, and it was a battle, I'll tell you. But they got the goalposts down, etc. And then in 1980 and 88 at the new stadium, there was also a rush to the field. In these cases, the police didn't do anything. They kind of let them go, and they took the goalposts down, ripped up the turf, took chairs out of the seats at the stadium, that type of thing.
I've seen some pictures of those.
So I think in a way, these Trump people were like Buffalo Bills fans. They got excited, and you see it a lot too in college. When after a college football game, students will storm the field, that type of thing.
Yeah, you get like excited. You get a mob mentality.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly,
and
exactly. And I think and I agree with you. I think it was mainly Trump people that did this, and they just got excited. And I think Antifa was there, though, as I said, on the perimeter trying to instigate things. And I think that was probably their role there. But I got to tell you, I had a case where maybe it was 50. I've been a season ticket holder since OJ played, so it's been a long time. About 15 years ago or so, I was there was an undercover investigation at the stadium. I was threatened by a group of young guys because I tried to. I told on them because I called security on them because they're out of control. They're doing all these weird stuff and whatever. So I called security. Security came down, threw out a few. Anyways, I was. They threatened to kill me. The guys that were left, so they had like an undercover sting operation. So the next week, I come into the stadium in our seats, and these guys had disguises on. These guys that threatened to kill me had disguises on. But what the Orchard Park Police and the Erie County Sheriff, they put undercover guys right around them, and they actually heard discussions about the threats to me. So they arrested a couple of them, and I'm not sure what happened after that. I never had to testify. But, these things happen. Antifa could have been there with disguises and whatever.
Yeah, I think that's possible. I think for sure some Antifa folks are there monitoring, maybe even instigating. Like there's a concept of agent provocateur, but usually it's applied to police trying to rile people up to justify a crackdown. But like I'm sure that happened. Again, if you're out in one of these things and someone's trying to egg you on to, destroy property or do violence, like don't listen to them. They're probably not a good person. And you could see a few folks, like when initially people were starting to smash windows on the side of the building, you see a few folks like dragging them down, being like, "What are you doing? Knock it off.
Yeah.
Don't smash the property. This is a historic building. Don't smash the windows."
Well, you'll appreciate this story. I went to a Tea Party event. It had to be at least 10 years ago now. It was at the river, downtown Rochester, and there was probably 1,000 people there. Well, after the Tea Party event, with a permit, the organizers had put together a permit, so we were able to walk down the middle of Main Street, walk down the middle of Fitzhugh to City Hall, and they gave some speeches there also. And after the speeches were done, a number of people started yelling in the crowd, "Let's march over to the Federal Building." And the organizers stood up and said, "No, because we don't have a permit to do it." I thought that was really classy. And that's the way it should be done.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's your right to do that. You can do that, but if you're going to escalate things, you're going to disrupt traffic or, disrupt the entrance to a building, you got to know what the consequences of that are. And I think a lot of people don't really understand. I imagine a lot of people who end up getting pepper sprayed and tear gas by Capitol Police on Wednesday probably didn't realize what they were getting into. And I've seen a lot of videos of that and realize what that looks like.
And I heard you talking about the lady that got shot. I didn't know until I heard you talk about it, how she got shot. But I have to say, if you're guarding the Capitol building and somebody's coming through the window, you just tell them to stop, and they keep coming. You got to shoot.
Yeah, and that's like I don't like to see it happen, but I kind of get it. Again, if you don't know what this woman's capable of. This is the Capitol building. Yeah. This is the Capitol building. This is where, there's probably members of Congress back there. Like, yeah, you don't.
Absolutely. But the other thing I wanted to mention to you, too, on YouTube, I listened to the whole Trump speech before the dastardly event. And I got to tell you, Trump came across very well. He did not incite. In fact, he says, we're going to walk over peacefully to the Capitol building. And he said, I don't want you to even talk to any Democrats because they've already made up their minds. I want you to talk to some of the Republicans to help us peacefully, advance our cause. And he was very non-confrontational in his speech. I don't know if you heard the whole thing. I heard it.
I've heard most of it, and we're going to talk about whether or not he was inciting too, and what the Democrats want to do about that. Thanks again, John. We appreciate you calling in. As always, go Bills. We'll be back with a free solution in just a few minutes.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Hi, my name is Ryan Bourne.
And I'm Danica Bourne.
And we're the owners of South Coast Tax. We would like to thank our Lord for protecting us from evil. Psalm 91 states, He is my refuge and my fortress, for He will rescue us from every trap and protect us from deadly disease.
South Coast Tax are Christian-based tax accountants and attorneys who specialize in releasing bank levies, wage garnishments, and filing complex tax returns. We are the leaders in acceptance of offers and compromise with awesome results.
We are also a small firm who will treat you like family and not just a number.
Call us today at 1-800-TAX-1176 for a free consultation, and we'll take the time to explain all of the programs that you qualify for in order to allow you a fresh start.
In John 8:36, so if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. And one way we can achieve that is by being debt-free. So let us help you today. Call us at 1-800-TAX-1176, and together we can help achieve this goal by putting the IRS tax debt behind you for good. Again, that number is 1-800-TAX-1176.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
free solution.
Welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today. Thank you so much for joining us, and appreciate the phone calls and the comments. As always, give us a call, 585-346-3000. If you have any additional thoughts on this, and I want to follow up on the point that John was making. He was talking about President Trump's speech. And what Democrats are saying is that now President Trump's speech on Wednesday, in addition to his other actions and the actions of the other folks who are, accusing President-elect Biden of stealing the election, are tantamount to incitement. That basically the president, people like Senator Josh Hawley, Senator Ted Cruz, other folks around, that they are inciting incidents like this, making violence likely, and therefore it is worth pursuing remedies to make sure that President Trump doesn't serve any more days as president. And, we do have people like Vice President Pence issued a letter on Wednesday. I didn't have time to get to that I was talking about other stuff on the Wednesday show, but he had issue a letter saying basically, well, he doesn't have the power to not count the votes or anything. And there's some interesting stuff happened that day, too, where apparently the D.C. National Guard consulted with Vice President Pence, Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell on deploying their resources to help get the situation under control. And that was kind of interesting to me because they specifically left out President Trump in that. And so that made me think maybe on Wednesday that the process of invoking the 25th Amendment might have already started to happen. And, for those of you unfamiliar with that, the 25th Amendment basically says that if the vice president and all of the cabinet gets together and says that the president is incapable of serving, then they can, temporarily transfer power to the vice president, and the vice president will become the acting president. And the places where you use this is normally when the president is incapacitated for some reason, right? Like the president is going to do a medical procedure, or the president is, like when Ronald Reagan was shot, like that's incidents like that are what it's meant for, because if you have a president who cannot carry out decisions, you don't want any confusion about who is supposed to be making decisions. You don't want there to be any question that, yes, the vice president can make a decision on X, Y, and Z issues so that the country can keep moving. So that's what the 25th Amendment is normally for. It looks like, and of course, media rumors are everywhere, left, right, and center right now. It looks like Vice President Pence really isn't inclined to do that. Again, the transfer of power is supposed to happen in 12 days. And President Trump came out last night and said that he wants an orderly transition. He's kind of a little bit more on the side of, maybe cool it a bit. And President Trump did issue a video statement on Wednesday, which I don't think helped much. He said, "Oh yeah, go home. The election was stolen, but go home. We love you. Thank you." I don't think that really helped anyone who's upset about this. And we're seeing resignations, too. Secretary of Education Betsy DeVos resigned. The chief of staff resigned. There's lots of folks who are abandoning ship right now because of how President Trump reacted. So this isn't, when I talk about the 25th Amendment stuff, this isn't just a Democrat thing. It's a Republican thing, too. There are a lot of Republicans who are, this was kind of the final straw for them. And look on the pages of National Review, other conservative magazines. A lot of Republicans are backpedaling hard from this. Rand Paul kind of going the other direction. He was insisting that there was fraud, and now he's like, no. Wait, I don't want any part of this. So that's interesting to see. It doesn't look like the 25th Amendment thing's going to happen, though. Now, there are House members who are talking about impeaching the president again. They want to do a very quick process, bring up articles of impeachment, impeach the president for a second time, and remove him from office immediately because they fear he's going to do something else. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that the Republicans in the Senate are going to do it. I think they're just going to be like, no, it's 12 days. They'll just finish it up. It's going to be over in a week and a half. The thing that worries me, the thing that I think is going to have longer-term consequences here is that stuff around incitement. President Trump has, and I'll say this too, a lot of the people who very stupidly entered the Capitol building, looted, rioted, destroyed stuff, those guys are going to jail because people posted selfies about it. They took pictures and posted them on their Instagrams and whatnot. Y'all are going to jail. That's what's going to happen, and that's fair. The people making the incitement argument are saying, well, the only reason people did that is because President Trump lied about the results of the election. So did people like Cruz and Hawley. Therefore, they should have some responsibility, not merely political consequences, for encouraging people to take these types of actions. And that's something I want to explore a little bit more, but I think that can be really dangerous too. Like, I do want to see, because I think what President Trump said and has been doing is dangerous in a lot of ways. And I talked about that on Monday. And this is before all this stuff. I do think that he is trying to prevent a peaceful transfer of power. I think that is dangerous. I think that's unprecedented. And I think that we have to fight these things out in court. And they have been. But at the same time, creating a new set of laws in which someone can take speech, it could be my speech too, your speech, a politician's speech, and if some wacko takes some stuff out of context and does something violent with it, who is responsible? Now, I don't have the answer to that question, but I have a lot of progressive friends who are like, this is why we need to heavily regulate social media companies. This is why we need to clamp down on Facebook, on Twitter, and on places like Parler too. This is why we need to stop this stuff. In Twitter, I think why Twitter and Facebook banned President Trump right away is because they're afraid that they are going to be liable for that if someone says, well, if President Trump was inciting people to riot, then the social media company that allowed that incitement to exist on their platform is legally and perhaps criminally liable for leaving that content up. So that's why Twitter pulled down a bunch of Trump stuff, banned him for 12 hours. Facebook and Instagram have banned President Trump through the end of his presidency at least, but probably indefinitely. So who knows? We are at a very dangerous time, and I don't have enough time to explore this issue as much as I wanted to, but let's be on the lookout for what the legislative remedies to this are going to be, because I think that this is going to be bad. I don't think any of this is good for liberty. I don't think, and I didn't get to talk about this either, I don't think that just because someone's fighting the government means that they're advancing liberty. And I think we're going to get a counter reaction led by people on the left who are going to try to shut down speech and regulate online content in a way that's going to be really dangerous. Not to say that what happened on Wednesday wasn't dangerous and that something doesn't need to be done about it, but I fear we need to be vigilant. We're going to lose our liberty. Thanks again for joining us here on A Free Solution. We're going to be back next week. Have a wonderful weekend and go Bills.